Yo, welcome back guys. Thanks for clicking on this video. As you can see, this video looks a little bit different than any of my other videos because it is currently 11:26 p.m. It is late, but I had a busy day. I worked all day, and then I had some other personal obligations later. This is the only time slot I had, but you know your boy had to make a video regardless, so I'm doing it at 11:26 p.m. right now. It's cozy hour. I got my tea. Currently sipping on Egyptian licorice tea. That's what it's called. It's really sweet, but it's pretty good. It's gonna help me get through this video. But anyways, today I want to talk about some sample libraries. I want to talk about libraries I would recommend if you are first getting into trailer music. You know, when I first started getting into this world of like music licensing and trailer music, I purchased so many libraries, and many of which I kind of had like buyer's remorse or whatever. Like, I felt like the demo sounded cool, but you know, actually getting my hands on those libraries, I found that it wasn't super useful to my workflow, and so I kind of wanted to make a video highlighting some libraries that just do not suck. I feel like they're really good, and they're especially good for trailer music. I feel like a lot of people use these libraries, so eventually I think it's important to kind of differentiate yourself and choose other samples, but I feel like these are like really good like trailer library like staples. Like, I feel like it works and it does its thing very well. There's a reason why these libraries are so popular. So I kind of want to just highlight some of the libraries that I would recommend. I've got a list of 5, technically 6, but mostly 5. I kind of tried keeping a short list. I want to kind of get like straight to the point. So let's just get into logic. Right off the bat, the first one I want to talk about is Heaviosity's Damage 1 and Damage 2. Damage 1 and Damage 2 are 2 separate libraries that, you know, have 2 different price tags to them. Damage 1 is currently priced at $2.99 and Damage 2 is priced at $3.99 at the moment. Also, pro tip, wait till Black Friday on all of these libraries because most of the time they're like heavily discounted. That's a pro tip for you. And I'm making this video at the end of October, so if you see this, like, Black Friday is right around the corner. Perfect time to kind of watch this video and maybe make a list of like some new purchases if that's what you're into. Anyways, Damage 1 and Damage 2. I kind of categorize this as one because they're both percussion libraries and both very good. Damage 1 has been around for a very long time, and it's widely used in trailers and TV shows, commercials, ads. It's all over the place. It's a really popular library. So I was really excited when Heaviosity released Damage 2. Although to my surprise, even though it's kind of like an epic percussion library, I feel like it sounds totally different, which is why I would say they're both really good to have. I don't think one is necessarily better than the other. I do think that they just sound different in nature. I feel like Damage 2 sounds a little bit like thicker, not so much like top end to it, at least on like the patches I like to use. I think it's a little more natural sounding, where Damage 1 sounds a little bit more like crushed, but I like that too, and sometimes it sounds really good to layer them. So I haven't like really written a track, but I've got some rhythms, and I'll go ahead and I'll just I'll loop this Damage 2 loop so you can hear that, and then I'll play the loop for Damage 1 so you can kind of hear some like tonal differences. Now, these libraries themselves have like a plethora of different patches, so this video might not do each of these libraries justice from the sense that I'm not going to do a super deep dive on them. It's more of a general overview. You can kind of just hear the tone right out of the box with the patch I loaded up. So anyways, this is Damage 2. Okay, you get it. Not much going on. That's like, I mean, if I were to write a track, I think I would be layering a lot of different elements on top of that. This is a pretty basic, straightforward loop. But it kind of gives you a good insight to, you know, the tone of this library. So let's compare that to Damage 1. This is what Damage 1 sounds like. Same loop. So different, Damage 2 sounded a little bit more thicker, a little bit more low end, at least on this Armageddon patch. Damage 1 and Damage 2 have this Armageddon patch, which I think is probably the most popular patch in these libraries. But I think the real magic is layering. So if I layer Damage 2 and Damage 1 together, you're going to get a more full, well-rounded drum sound. Damage 1 kind of handles with a lot of that nice top end, and Damage 2 is for that like more mid to low end. So this is kind of what they sound like layered together. Pretty cool. And might I add, I am doing absolutely zero processing to this. So that's what it sounds like out of the box. I mean, of course, when you're mixing, you're going to probably further process this stuff, but I think it sounds pretty good, and it gets you right in that territory right out of the gate. So Damage 1, Damage 2, highly recommend them. The next one I want to highlight is a library by keepforest called Devastator, or it's just called Evolution Devastator. Really popular one. Kind of a more like a newer library. This one has been out for maybe 1 or 2 years now, but I feel like it's widely popular. I see a lot of people kind of in the trailer music community like rant and rave over this thing, and for good reason, honestly. It's a very nice trailer toolkit. You have drums and percussion sounds, but you also have like hits, and you've got risers and whooshes and cool synths and like low brass. Like, it is just everything. It just screams everything trailer to me. So I think that this is a really good library to have in your arsenal as well. I've got my favorite patch loaded up. This is the synthetic trailer drums RR, which I believe is just round robin, but this is the patch I like to use a lot. I've got a loop from Devastator loaded up, and I swear if I get copyright claimed on YouTube for this, I'm going to lose it, because it's happened before. But this is kind of what it sounds like right out of the gate. Really cool, like really good sound. I like using those layered with like my hits, but it's good to use as like a percussion layer too. So say you have this and you layer it with like kind of more of an organic natural sound from like Damage, your drums will be like slapping in no time, honestly. But honestly, Devastator has like a bunch of other cool sounds in it too. Really worth checking out. Devastator's actually priced at $199, so actually this is kind of one of the more affordable libraries on my list, and I think it's worth its weight in gold. I think this could easily be like a $400 library, and I would personally pay it still. So I mean, definitely pick this one up. Really good library as well. I don't want to spend too much time going through it, but let me just go ahead and kind of show you some of the other sounds, because I don't want to just show you the percussion and you guys think it's just a percussion library, because it's so much more than that. So let me just go ahead. I'll just load up some, let's just do some trailer effects. So here is the riser short patch. Let's do some glitches effects. Really interesting stuff too. They've also got like synths, so let's just do like a pluck patch. And then you can also, in this window it says pluck 11, but you can click on that and choose like any random pluck. And then say you want to add just an arpeggiator on that real quick. But those are just like some other sounds it offers. So it's not just percussion, it's a whole plethora of things that are just perfect for trailer music. So those are, percussion and sound design libraries, but a lot of trailer music is very orchestral too. I think trailer music a lot of times can be a blend of these hybrid sounds mixed with like more orchestral sounds. So I want to talk about some cool orchestral libraries that I like to use for trailer music. The first one being a library by a company called Orchestral Tools, and this is their library, Metropolis Arc 1. Metropolis Arc 1 is kind of an all-rounder, so you'll have, your strings in it, you'll have your brass in it, there's a really, really good choir in it too, so if you're looking for like a choir library, it has a very nice choir sound in there. I think it's got a drum kit in there, it's got, I think, some guitar and bass stuff in there too, but I mostly like using their orchestral stuff. Oh, there's woodwinds too. Just a lot in there. Personally, I like this for their short string sounds, like their spiccatos. The reason I would recommend this is because I think really the tone of it is a lot better than some other things. I feel like there's a nice bite to the sound of their strings right out of the box. Whereas like some other libraries I might have to do some further processing to get them to sound a little bit more or to have a little bit more bite, or get them to kind of cut through the mix a little bit more. These were recorded and processed in a way that it's very nice right from the get-go. So I've got a short little spiccato ostinato, nothing too crazy, but you can kind of just hear the tone of it. Okay, so nothing too crazy, just a simple ostinato, put it together in 30 seconds or whatever. I do really like the tone of that. But they've got, like I said, nice brass, nice choir, just a whole plethora of things. So there's going to be a lot of libraries, and some more that I'll mention, that are focus on a specific thing. I want to highlight a brass library, and I want to highlight another string library. Metropolis Arc might be one of the best ones to pick up if you're starting, just because you'll get a little bit of everything, and then you can kind of go and add other sounds to your orchestral palette. I think the beauty in making trailer music, or any music for that matter, is layering all the sounds you have. I think everybody's got to kind of have a personal experience. What I think sounds good layered is going to be different than what you might find appealing to your ears. And I think that's just kind of part of finding your own sound anyways. But Metropolis Arc is definitely one I recommend checking out as well. The next one I want to look at is a brass library from a company called Cinesamples, and this is Cinebrass Pro. Cinebrass Pro is priced right now at $429, but I think it's a really, really good brass library for trailer music, mainly for two patches, or at least I like using two patches all the time, and that's their Monster Brass patch, and then their 12 horn patch, which I feel like this library is really popular for those and really well known for those. Monster Brass is really good for that low, trailer, almost Brahm-like sound, just really deep and low. This is kind of what it sounds like. You hear that and you think movie trailer, right off the bat. So that's really good. And then here's their just 12 horn patch too, which is really useful, not only for trailer music, but just scoring films and cinematic music in general. I feel like it's really good for that. Really, really good. Let's move on to the last one. The last one I want to highlight is a string library from a company called Cinematic Studio Series, and this is their Cinematic Studio Strings, which is priced right now for $3.99. And like I said, with all these libraries, it's really good to buy around Black Friday if you're going to do it, just because I see discounts pretty often. A lot of companies will do 50% off, pretty steep discounts. Not all of them, but I've kind of managed to collect a lot of my sample libraries on Black Friday. Like I try looking for those really good deals. So yeah, sometimes you might be breaking down the price and all this and you're like, oh my god, it's so much money, and it is expensive, but just know that a lot of these companies will run sales not only on Black Friday but like fairly often too. Okay, but back into it. Cinematic Studio Strings. I feel like I like this library the most because I feel like it's got a really good tone to it. It just sounds different than most libraries, and I feel like it sounds really realistic to my ear. Here's a short little passage. I think those legatos sound really natural. The way it kind of like bends up into the next note just to me sounds like real string players are playing that, and it's not so like computerized sounding. So that's really good. They've got a nice range of articulations in there too, you know, from your long sustains to, you know, your short like staccato, spiccato. I think they've got like the Bartok like snaps or whatever. Yeah, tremolos. They've got harmonics, which are really nice too. You know, trills, tremolo, marcato, and pizzicato patches. So there's a wide range of articulations there too. I feel like I would start with like something like Metropolis Art, kind of get your orchestral, or get something that's kind of more of a wide range of the orchestra, have a little bit of everything, and then maybe later on down the road add stuff like this that are like dedicated to the strings or dedicated to the brass, because generally like these libraries do one thing but they do it very well, so it's all about layering anyways. But yeah, Cinematic Studio Strings is definitely one to check out as well. So that kind of concludes it. I mean, those are 5-6 libraries, if you will, that I would recommend checking out if you're like trying to get into trailer music and you don't really know where to begin. You feel like you see tons of sample libraries and sample packs thrown at you all the time with advertising, and before you drop thousands of dollars on libraries that you might not be satisfied with, I think, you know, taking a good look at these libraries will at least set you up, and you'll more than likely be happy, and more importantly be able to put out like trailer music like at an industry standard. I feel like I use these libraries all the time in my stuff, and I know a lot of like my friends and colleagues use them as well for their trailer music too, and they just work. They work well, they sound great, and you've heard all these libraries in just about every movie trailer out there in some sort of fashion. So that about wraps it up for me. I'm gonna go to bed. Well, actually, I'm gonna edit this and then I'm gonna go to bed. But I don't know. I hope it was helpful for you guys, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe leave a comment down below and let me know what some of your favorite libraries are, or if I'm missing any. Maybe you stumble upon a great library that I didn't mention. Let me know. I'd like to add it to my sonic palette as well, or at least check it out at the very least. So anyways, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next time.